Begin by settling our bodies into our meditation posture. So we have our cushion, meditation cushion, or meditation space. Maybe that's separate from where we spend the rest of our days, to the rest of our work. And our knees are just slightly below the buttocks, not lifting above. So you're sitting on a cushion slightly elevated. Or if you're sitting on a chair, keep your feet planted on the ground. Your spine is straight. Every bone in the spine stacked straight on top of the other one. As if there's a string running through your spine and coming out through the crown of your head, and you're being pulled up by it. Straighten your back like that. And in that way, your neck naturally tilts downward also, about 45-degree angle. So you're looking about 2 meters in front of you on the floor. Your arms are relaxed in your lap, either in the meditation mudra with your right hand in your left hand and your thumbs touching. Or if that's not comfortable for you, your hands can be resting on your knees, face up or face down. Your jaw is relaxed. And again, you can put a little smile on your face to relax all the muscles in your face, all the tension we hold there in the eyebrows, the jaw. Your tongue is touching the upper palate just behind the teeth, which prevents saliva from forming in the mouth, so we don't have to swallow. And your eyes can be half open or just cracked open to let a little bit of light in, especially because it's morning for a lot of us. We want to avoid drowsiness and sleepiness. At the same time, if you keep your eyes all the way open, it can cause distractions or excitement. So just try to find the right balance there. If you feel that that's not comfortable for you, you can also keep your eyes closed. Making sure you have a strong yet relaxed posture. A little bit of confidence in your posture. And we'll now shift our attention gently to the breath. You can watch the breath flow in and out, either by watching the rise and fall of your abdomen, which may feel more comfortable for people, more grounding, especially to start with. Or some people may prefer to watch the breath coming in and out of the nostrils. And you can focus your attention right at the tip of your nostril and the sensations there. You may find your attention being pulled away from the object into different directions, thoughts, emotions, other distractions. And when that happens, just gently return back to the breath and let whatever it is dissolve away on its own. You can check up on your alertness too, simultaneously, making sure that your mind is alert and watching the mind that's getting distracted. If you feel that your mind is foggy or drowsy this morning, you could straighten up your posture a little bit, or open your eyes a little bit more, and counteract that drowsiness. If your mind seems too excited and agitated, you could let a little less light in through your eyes. You can relax your body a little bit in the posture while keeping your back straight. This is how we keep checking up on the quality of our attention simultaneously. If you'd like to continue your meditation practice, feel free to leave the session. Today we're going to stay on the session, keep the room open for people who have any questions about their meditation practice, about shamatha. So if you don't want to join that and you'd like to keep meditating, feel free to leave the session. And for those who would like to stay on, you can gently open your eyes, slowly move your body, and see if you can keep that flow of single pointedness, of focus, as you start to come back to the room you're in or the space you're in. Now I'll open the floor to anyone who has questions. Yes, Nitya, you have your hand up. Let me just allow people to unmute. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, morning.
Good morning.
I had this question with during yesterday's meditation session with Kabir in the evening, and I thought I'd raise it now, which is, um, uh, I mean, in your experience, is there a difference between the mind and consciousness? Because when, for example, I sort of alight on the breath with my attention, I can sense the conscious attention. I can sense that as a separate entity, but I can't sense the mind. Is the mind just these images and thoughts that keep popping out of seemingly nowhere? Is that the mind? Because the only thing I can experience or sense is this awareness. That's the only thing I'm aware, I'm attuned to. So I don't really know what the mind feels or looks or, is like, except for these things that come out of nowhere. So I just wanted to see if
So,
anyone wrote that. Yeah.
yeah, and actually Kabirji is here on the session today. So since it was during his meditation that you had the question, he could answer if he wishes, Kabirji. Would you like to answer, Kabirji?
You go ahead. You go ahead first. If I have anything, I'll say something.
Okay, so
It's
I
a huge
can,
question.
yes.
We'll bring it up in our Monday
Question.
session as well. It's
Yeah.
such an important question. But you have a go now, Nidita.
And is there a reason, is there something that was said in the meditation that gave you this question?
No, I was actually following the meditation practice that you do in the morning, which is literally just gentle awareness on the breath. And I was trying to practice not, controlling the breath, but rather just attending to it. So that's what I was doing when I know. And it's not the first time. I've noticed it frequently that I often can't distinguish between, I don't know what the mind is, but I'm certainly aware of what awareness and conscious presence is. So yeah.
Right. Okay. So yesterday, I'm not sure if you joined for the session, but we did a session on nature of mind, where we were sort of resting in and observing what the space of the mind looks like. So when in the meditation, I shared the recording in the group in case you want to re-listen to it. When you're resting in that space of the mind, you can see thoughts, emotions, memories. You can see all these things that are arising from this space and falling back into this space. So that space is one, and there are so many different ways we can describe mind, what mind is, but that is one way in which we can sort of observe what mind is, this vast space, either like the sky, endless like the sky, or like the ocean, where these waves come, arise, and fall back into that space. So according to Buddhism, and I don't want to get into too much philosophy, because consciousness is a different topic. That's not something we are watching or trying to use in meditation. Consciousness is sort of a different stream of wind and energy that and that is what Buddhism says moves from life to life, this continuum. And we can say all things also arise out of this consciousness, out of this clear, all-knowing consciousness. Mind is sort of what arises in conjunction with the brain-body system, this mind space, which is where all these other things that we experience in day-to-day life, that's where they arise from. That's how we perceive the world. It all comes from our mind system. So when we are watching our breath, it is our mind, and it can be a little bit confusing because then we can also watch the mind. Who is watching the mind then? Well, it's also sort of the mind. It's also an observer. So I would suggest not thinking about it too much, because you can keep going to layers and layers of it. You can't really put your finger on it. But I think something that could help is meditations like Nature of Mind, where you watch the space of the mind, and that might help you get a clearer sense of what is mind, what is awareness. And I would like to invite Kabirji to add to that if he wants.
There's too much to add. So what was going through my awareness, my mind, my consciousness. By the way, these are often used as synonyms in the Buddhist tradition. So one has to be very careful how one is using them. So I was thinking, what do you think, Niditaji? We have a Sunday morning session at 11:30 where we look more at this topic because it's extraordinarily important. It's mind is what we're working with, awareness, consciousness, mind. That's the essence of what we're working with. So I'm wondering whether a session on Sunday morning would be useful for people for an hour. 11:30 and meditation on mind. And before that, I could post some very useful, put some postings on the WhatsApp group for people to reflect on before the session. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Definitely.
And then I can give my tuppence worth and quote my teachers and very realized teachers of the tradition. And then it's up to each of us to digest that rich food, that rich knowledge, which comes from, of course, those people's experience. That I think could be useful because it's a very, very important topic and it's very hard to talk about sometimes. There's some very good material on it in a Tibetan Book of Living and Dying, by the way. But I will also post something and then we could have discussion, meditation, and some blah blah on Sunday morning. Do you think that that works for people? Some people. It could be recorded and then people could listen to it later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Nalitaji?
Yeah, I
You
think that's
agree?
really useful. Yeah, because Nitya's question is it's a very good one that I think that many people that arise in meditation, especially who is the watcher, where is the observer, what is the difference between awareness, where's the awareness coming from. um,
Mm.
yeah, so I think Nitya, definitely join that session. But in your meditation, I would suggest not focusing on that too much, because the point is to uh, just focus that awareness with it, not to really investigate so much, because they are very abstract. Um, these are very abstract things. But there is an awareness that we can feel, we can sense. We know we have this awareness in our minds, and we want to cultivate the focus of it. So I hope that helps.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. And I will join the Sunday session.
Does anyone else have questions about their practice, shamatha, specifically, not to
Yeah,
conceptual
bring
questions?
your own refreshments, something for the body as well as the mind. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions about specifically their meditation practice, or about shamatha, the things we've been practicing this week? There are many things to add about shamatha, to discuss about the single pointed awareness. Um, there's a whole painting, which some of you may be familiar with, the shamatha painting with the elephant and the monkey and the monk, the meditator, chasing after and trying to control the elephant, the mind. So there are many, we can talk about a lot of things, but yeah, in the morning sessions, we won't be discussing them. We'll just be more practicing. So these Friday Q&A sessions are if you have any questions that arise in your practice during the week and you'd like to ask, please feel free to ask, or about shamatha in general. Yeah, and if not, we can just dedicate briefly for our whole week of practice, if you've been joining the whole week. Yep, okay, so let's dedicate very briefly for today or the whole week for keeping up this daily practice and for making that effort to cultivate this focus, the stability of the mind, which is sort of like a foundation upon which all other things can be built. You can't really deepen your compassion unless you have a stable foundation. You can't build up the four immeasurables, for example, or these other concepts of Buddhism without a stable foundation of focus and of attention. So we rejoice that we are practicing this, and maybe even multiply it, thinking of all those who maybe really can't, based on circumstances, have any sort of daily practice or even 5 minutes a day to meditate. Their circumstances just don't allow it, or they have not met this practice in this lifetime. animals, beings in other realms, for example. So we can multiply our practice to reach them also. And may we continue practicing for the benefit of all these beings. May our daily practice show results in our daily life and impact people in even the smallest ways in our daily lives. And we also dedicate for the long life and good health of our teachers who guide us in this practice, Kabirji and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, our spiritual founder and director, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. And may we keep this practice with us through the rest of our days. Thank you. We will meet again in this space on Monday, but our next session will be on Sunday, 11 a.m., led by Kabirji. That will be a longer meditation plus teaching session. So please do join that as well. That's in a different group chat, by the way. If you are not in that group, there is a different group for the morning meditations and a different group for our regular teaching sessions. So if you're not in that group, you can let me know. You can still stay on for a minute in case anybody has come up with any questions.